Hi there, and welcome to In Detail Design's first Photoshop video. Today we're going over some of the basics of the program to help you guys get familiar with it. So, let's get into it. So, first things first, we need to get Photoshop opened up. This is what you'll be welcomed with, something similar to this. I have a slightly older version of Photoshop than the most modern one. However, yours will look somewhat similar, and for this video it should be pretty much the same because the stuff that we're going to be looking at has been in Photoshop since pretty much the beginning. So, let's go on with the simplest thing. How to open and create a new file. So first of all, you want to go up to the top left of your screen, right next to the Photoshop logo, and you're going to see File, and you're going to click Open. We're going to open up a file I've already made a while ago, because this is just for, demonstration purposes. So we're going to open this one here, called Lexi, and it's a picture of my dog, Lexi. So simple, that's what you really need to do when it comes to opening a file. So what's more important is how to create a new file. So we go to the file again, like we just were, and click new. Then you've got a bunch of options which can look quite scary. So I'm going to go through the stuff that you kind of need to look at, which is really important to you, and we'll just brush over the stuff that we don't really need to brush to aside just for today, because we don't really need to focus on everything. So first of all, we're just going to name it, In Detail Design Episode 1. So custom, you've got at the moment on the custom preset, we've got quite a few here. We've got default Photoshop, US paper, international paper. If you're doing like an A4 piece, this is really helpful. You just do straight to A4, and then photo, and you've got those different ones. So today we're going to look at custom. We're going to be making a 1080p background for a standard monitor. You're going to look at pixels, that's what you want it to be in. So we know the width is 1080. No, the width is not 1080, the width is 1920, and then the height is 1080. So if you wanted to print this off, you'd want it at 300 pixels per inch. This is pretty much the standard for most printing nowadays. So if you're going to be doing anything like magazine covers or leaflets or whatever, 300 pixels per inch or DPI is what you want to be looking for, as that's going to be, the most efficient and most used resolution that is going to be there. So there's other stuff don't really need to worry too much about. You can have a transparent background, a specific color, or a standard white, which is what we're going to go for today, and then this advanced stuff we aren't going to worry about right now. So you just then click OK, and boom, there is your new file. So now let's look at the layout. So now we have our file created, I'm going to give you guys a brief introduction to the interface and layout of Photoshop, to get you a bit more familiar with it, so you'll be a bit more confident when it comes to using Photoshop yourself. So at the top left here we have our menu, a menu bar. Each of these individual things can do quite a lot, so they'll probably have their own specific video on, but just so you guys know, it's all up there. There's a lot of different, this is a very important bar at the top here. This is going to help you, do a lot of different things in Photoshop. It has a lot of capabilities. And then just below it you have the options bar, which will give you the options for each individual tool. Each tool has their own settings and their own, different options accompanied with them depending on the tool. So yeah, that's, if you want to, for instance, if you had let's make this really quick, we'll make this part of the image the In Detail Design yellow, which is that, and we'll make it like this, and then we wanted to select just that yellow bit. You could use the Magic Wand tool, and just to make sure you had no mistakes, you wanted to only select the In Detail Design yellow. You could put that tolerance down to 1, so it wouldn't make a mistake, and there you go. You can see it's now perfectly highlighted that yellow block and nothing else. Obviously that's quite a simple example, but that will become very useful when you're using the Magic Wand tool in your projects when it's a bit more complicated, more detailed images. So moving on from the options bar, you've got the toolbar down here, and these tools are all, you know, they all do different things, but the most important ones are probably the Magic Wand tool. That one is very helpful for editing images. You know, it's what everyone uses when they start using Photoshop. It helps you select things quite simply by yourself. For instance, as you saw there, if you wanted to take out a white background of an image, you'd use the Magic Wand tool, and that would allow you to highlight everything white in that image, or within that image, and then take out the background quite easily. And then you've got the Move tool, which would be just saying if you had a part of an image or part of something on a layer, you could use this to help you move things around. Obviously there's nothing there for me to move, so that's why I didn't like that. So each of these tools are quite important. You've got the text tool down here, the T, and another important thing about the toolbar is that each tool will have its own hotkey. So as you can see, at the end of each name it has a letter in brackets. So just saying for the crop tool, we wanted to move to that, you just simply click C on your keyboard and you can see it's moved me into the crop tool. So once you learn those, it will allow you to be a lot more efficient when you use Photoshop. It's not 100% necessary, I don't always use them, but they're there in case you want to learn them. So now I'm going to move over to the colors and swatches and layer side. So let me move my camera down. Okay, so now I'm out of the way, we can have a better look at the right side of the screen here. So you've got colors and swatches. This will allow you to basically give you a lot of options to do with the colors. The swatches will allow you to save specific colors. So if I wanted to save this specific yellow, which is the same yellow that I use for all of the in detail design website and whatnot, because it's part of the brand, it's important to me, so I want to keep that there so I can come back to it whenever I want, no matter what file I'm on. I want that yellow so I can come back to it, because I'm sure I'll be doing a lot of in detail design related Photoshop work. So now I've got it selected here, and I can just add to my swatches in detail design yellow, just like that. Very simple. And then just below that you have adjustments and styles. Styles aren't really used too much nowadays. Well, I don't tend to use them. I feel like it's a bit more old-fashioned Photoshop stuff that they've kind of kept up. You know, they've just kept it in Photoshop back from, you know, the 2000s and whatnot. And then you've got adjustments, which is extremely important. There's so much stuff in here. You've got your brightness, you've got your contrast levels, you've got your hues, and you can do some really cool, interesting stuff with those settings. And once again, all of this stuff will have more in detail videos and their own videos on it, because, you know, it'd be this video would be hours long if I went over each individual part of Photoshop. And that just below you have your layers, channels, and your paths. The things we're going to focus on here is the layers. This is the most important part of Photoshop, in my personal opinion. When it comes to the basics, this is the foundations of Photoshop. When it comes to the layers of editing images, I'm sure most of you guys have used like Microsoft Paint before, and you know that when if you made two circles or two squares, and you put them next to each other like this, they would simply merge together and become one weird rectangle square mishmash. However, we can use layers to allow us to, let me get rid of them real quick. We can use layers to make things separate from one another and allow us to move them around ourselves on two separate layers, just like that. If we just click, as you saw, if you click this little sticky note looking square at the bottom right, that'll create a new layer, and then I will have two individual square rectangle things which are separate from one another and won't automatically merge, and will be separate, which will allow me to create some really cool work and stuff in the future. Not just two squares obviously, but it will allow you to do a lot of interesting things with the layers, and there's a lot of cool stuff you can do. So hopefully you guys found that video useful and gave you guys a bit of an introduction into Photoshop. If you have any questions or any requests for videos, send them to me on Twitter or Instagram. I will put them both on the screen right now. So thanks so much for watching, and peace.